All right, guys, we're going to get started here in a sec. Got about 40 minutes left. Let's see here. You guys hear me okay? Cool, cool. So obviously I don't have to tell you things are really slow right now. Slow Monday. So I figured we'll just get into my trade from last week on NIO and CNBX, which I kind of explained this morning. And let's see here. NIO, yeah, I mean, it was an IPO. Buddy had told me about it. I wasn't able to trade it until the close on this day too. So here it is. Here's the entire trading history. Here's day two. Got the high day break going into the afternoon. And then kind of this dip back towards 10 is where I took my position. So I was looking for an overnight, hoping for a gap up. I wasn't quite expecting it to get all the way up to where it did. I was kind of thinking to take profits into close, but I had 3,000 shares, I think. I still need to upload the trade. But you can see the clear high day break here at 975. It was trading massive amounts of volume. Let's see. Sorry, 1 second. Pre-market. Where'd you go? There we go. Oh, I had that. Okay. Anyways, it was doing massive amounts of volume on this day. High day break around 10 bucks, and 10's usually pretty key. You know, it's a whole dollar mark, but 10's double digits in terms of the dollar amount. And I've always found 10 and 20, once you get into the 10-20 range, to be very key. Obviously, you get into that, it really comes down to like whole and half dollar marks, and this thing was actually playing with the whole and half dollar marks really nicely. So my average, I think, was like in the 1020s or 1030s by the time I was done getting shares on this bounce. It was pretty quick. I didn't necessarily want to chase it up into the 10s. I probably would have got stopped out if it, you know, when it came back down and broke just below 10. So I ended up with only 3,000 shares. I sold some into the parabolic into close. I held like 1,000 overnight, and to be honest, I had a really long night with my kids and wasn't up early enough to sell. You know, this would have been really early in the morning for me here in Phoenix. So I didn't get any of it in the 14s, but I did sell some of it towards 13 when it tried to bounce into the open. Obviously, it got smacked pretty damn hard here. So I'd made about 6,000 on the overnight and the perk into close, this parabolic move into close. And it just worked out really nicely. There hasn't been too much else running. The massive amount of volume, the end of day, high day break, and then the pull back to it is where I took the position. I mean, you could have bought the breakout over like 980 something or whatever it was and been okay if you stuck to your risk, which should have been like probably 950 if it were me. And then once you got the 10 hold, that was important. So I did want to see it come back down and test 10, which it did. And when it bounced relatively quickly, like within the next minute, I took a very moderate size position, you know, a very small position. In terms of dollar value, I mean, it was a 30K position or so, but you know, a small amount of shares. So I made 6K, you know, swinging my shares overnight. And then I actually did buy this first bounce here. Once it cracked down in the morning from the 13s back, you know, I thought maybe that 10 would hold again. And then it just kind of kept going. So I was looking, I think, at the 15-minute, and I was just kind of looking in this region here, looking at whole half dollar marks. I wanted to see 850 possibly hold, or I'm sorry, I wanted to see, where is this? 950 possibly hold, 10, 950. It was one of those price action plays where I was just thought the move was way quick and I could probably catch a bounce, and I wanted to catch the first bounce. Turned out the second bounce was even better. I didn't play the second bounce here, which you could have had really decent risk if you were playing the second bounce, 30 cents or so if you were buying at 950. And you got, you know, a $3 bounce there. So I only took 1,000 shares only because I was a little sketched out still, and you got to be careful buying dips like that. So I had already made 6K. I didn't really want to give up, more on a gamble. But I did get shares. I think 950 was my entry. So I did see it bounce rather quickly and just through level 2. And I sold at 1050 basically before it was halted to the upside there. So that was NIO. I made 7K total on that one. CNBX, I think we were all playing this on Friday, or several of us. My entry was okay. Once we got back over VWAP going into the afternoon and consolidating, I ended up getting shares in the ones, 102 or something like that. And then I added a little bit as it was moving, so I ended up with like a 109 average. Not exactly what I wanted, but my goal was to sell into a gap up, and stupidly, I should have locked shares in. I think Dom sold all his shares on Friday, which was probably the right thing to do on a move like this. It was a pretty big move. But generally, I liked how it was finishing, so I swung all 9K shares overnight, and then hit market order this morning when if you guys were in chat, I was explaining I had to update my Street Smart, and it wouldn't let me on my computer for quite a while. I had to go through Schwab, whatever, and it wouldn't let me launch the platform, so I had to do a market order on Schwab because I know if I was doing limit orders on there, it was probably panicking already. So I lost like 10 cents in the slippage, didn't make anything, but that's all right. And that's why you always got to take profit, especially, Friday afternoon into strength like that. I mean, I was up 3K or so. It would have been, $2,500. It would have been a nice way to end the Friday after making 7 in the morning. But I got a little greedy, and that's all right. Happens sometimes. And that's why you got to be careful with OTCs. That's why you really don't want to be chasing them and necessarily chasing spikes in the close on OTCs. If they don't gap up, then a lot of times they're going to come right back down. Let's see. It's at $1.08 right now, so I'll keep an eye on it. I mean, it's actually holding up decently at $1. It didn't come down below $1, which I thought would probably be pretty important on this move. Yeah, it's the kind of thing where I could buy this and risk $1 and be okay with it if it didn't work. But at this point, hopefully it sets up for a multi-day breakout. AWSM is one I wasn't going to touch. I think it was a lower float today. It says 2.79 million, gap up. One click Apple something or other. Reseller. New one-click Apple premium reseller store, the first ever in the Dominican Republic. Okay, that doesn't mean much to me. But it's held up decently well today. It's just not, something's fishy. I didn't even go through the filings yet. I'd imagine there's warrants here or something weird. It's done 6.2 million volume. It's supposed to be a 2.79 million float, but the range today has only been $1 max. I mean, it did gap up. So I mean, 625 to 750. Okay, $1.25 range. So it's not moving like a low float. Really wouldn't surprise me if there's dilution going on. Let's see. NBEV, yeah, NBEV's up today. Put it this way, there's nothing that really interests me right now. Like, not majorly. I don't see anything great. NBEV, yeah, I mean, it got kind of a big cup on the intraday, but a ton of overhead resistance here. 250, 240, 230. 255, 256. Granted, there wasn't a ton of volume these days. There was some volume on this day and a ton of volume on this day. So this is not a long pattern for me on day one even. Yeah, it's just not. I hope that makes sense to you guys, like the odds here. I mean, it could break out. Don't get me wrong. like maybe gap up and then break out. And I'll be watching it if it does, you know. This is totally mid-range in terms of risk reward. I don't like it. David said Prospect is selling $25 million of warrants. Was that AWSM? Do you have exercise prices for those? Yeah, so I mean, NBEV, but yeah, that doesn't surprise me with AWSM. Look at the dollar volume it's traded today, and it's got a $1.25 range. It's supposed to be a 2.79 million float. NLST, I think that was running kind of recently, wasn't it? I haven't even looked at this chart today. Oh, yeah, I remember NLST. Okay. Yeah, you got a first green day. That's sweet. Maybe gets to 75 cents or something. Check out the 5-minute. Yes, I do remember NLST. Yeah, not something I'm playing in a close, even though it is finished closing strong. Yeah, but I mean, this is a perfect first green day for sure. Just with all this volume, though, I mean, there's going to be a lot of overhead volume here. That's just not for me. Now that it's mid-range, you know, had I caught it maybe a little bit earlier, if I had been playing it a little bit earlier, maybe the pre-market break over here, pre-market highs. But even then, I mean, if you didn't lock right in after a few percentage move, I mean, you would have had to sit through not the most clear risk reward kind of trade. So when VWAP broke down, I mean, I probably would have been stopped out here. Mike said, "Shake me out." The POS did this shake you out here? Was it this big kind of midday drop? What else? SNMX is on my scan. I think that's a acquisition or merger, so that's a no play. But when it broke over 50 cents and held, it shook me out on the pullback from 53 cents. Ah, I see. Yeah, which is why buying high a day breaks and sucks. I mean, that's a shakeout for sure. But, I mean, this is just tricky, you know? Little trickster there. What were you risking, if you don't mind me asking? David saying AWSM September 7th, last reported sale 414. That's which 5? Yeah. I'll check it out. I'll check those filings out probably tonight. Actually, I'm probably not, because I'm probably not going to trade it. So there's no need. What's Namaste's ticker? I forgot. So AWSM's almost 75 cents off its highs. It's probably done for now. Yes, NXTTF, that's right. Yeah, might be getting some bounce in here. It'd be cool. Not really plays that I personally like. You know, a lot of, when there's not too much volatility, I'm always looking for more volatility. These are more kind of swing positions, I guess, or, you know, you can still make your money off of them, no doubt, if you're playing the whole sector. I just don't like plays that don't have that much volatility, that's all, or daily range. It's had some days with decent range, 160, 195. I mean, decent percent gains there. But I'm always still looking for, you know, the 2 to 5ers, the 2 to 10ers, the NIOs, even though NIO was trading really funky on how much volume that was trading. I mean, it's not low flow by any means, the way it was trading. That being said, NIO has base now at 850, 860. It held 850 today, and now it's based at 860. So this could easily just kind of like shit the bed after hours as people drive the price down, and then more panic in the morning. Or it's going to hold 850 and set up a nice, decent risk reward for a first green day on NIO. What was the other one that was running? QTT? I think that got demolished this morning. I haven't looked at it. Yeah, look at that. That's a good short. But there's the range I'm talking about. $7 range on a sub $20 stock is awesome. Let me see, 49 cents on NLST. I see a little bit of talk about that. Yeah, that would have been a little tight for me, personally. For me, I probably would have been risking like 48 cents, depending on my size. You know, maybe 47 cents. You're only looking at a couple pennies there. So, like I said, dependent on size and where my position was, if I was buying for the breakout of 50 cents or something like that, maybe the second push over 50 cents, I definitely would have had a risk around 48 or 47 even. Only because, I mean, the price range of this stock down at this level is, you know, kind of a penny at a time. So it's a little, you know, when you're playing these, it's a little different. I definitely, on a play like this, I would have given myself at least 48 cents. Like a quick drop to like 47 or 46 definitely would have shaken me out if I had enough size. If my size was manageable, you know, I would have even probably, yeah, let that hit 47 cents. It depends. Tight's good. Tight's safe. Okay, Mike? No doubt about it. Tight is safe. But a lot of times you'll take a small loss or something like that and could have had a great swing or whatever else is happening. You know, you do have to try to extend your trades as much as possible and set risk accordingly. If not, you're, you know, kind of wasting time. But in a scenario, you know, at least you stuck to your risk. That's all I can say. A lot of people struggle with that, and it's just really important to do. That being said, obviously you want to set risk that's a little bit more appropriate. A penny risk, you know, unless you're going for a home run, you know, you could have probably taken a single on a 2 or 3 penny risk and gotten like 10 cents, you know. I've made the mistake in the past of setting risk too tight. You can't do that. I mean, you can, but it's an odds game. A lot of times you're not going to be within, 2 or 3 cents of the bottom of where you're trying to buy, a lot of times you have to sit through like 10 cents if that's the case. And your ultimate risk is where you size off of. So if I'm 20 cents away and I do want to take a piece and I know that there's a better risk level 20 cents away, then my size is going to be smaller until it gets down towards where I want to risk. And if where I want to risk also means that I still want to buy it going into the close, because things change midday, things change in the chart, you have to interpret it correctly. You don't want to necessarily risk where you would have risked in the morning, in the afternoon. It all depends on how everything sets up. So if you want small risk, use smaller size. Totally agree. 100% agree. 100% agree. If you're not, if you're not willing to put the money on the line to have that tight risk, or just in general, my risk fluctuates. If I'm willing to risk more on trades that seem to be higher odds to me, or there's something that I can, unless I have a ton of conviction on a trade because of everything that we always go through. If that conviction's not there, or my risk level is far away, I take small size. It's really simple. And then I can have a larger risk level. I can have a larger gap comfortably. And then if something changes, or, and if something is going according to plan, I get to take my size at the level I want to. And then if that breaks down, then that's okay. That's where I was risking anyways. So, size will change a lot of things. Much better to have half the size, twice the risk tolerance there in that trade than full size and a small risk level in terms of range. You want to give yourself personally as much range as you can while you're comfortable. Tom said, or just go all in every play regardless of risk. I know there's people who do that and, blow their accounts up. So obviously to be a profitable trader, you're in the game of risk management. So that should be your ultimate goal, is to become a master of that. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm by no means a master of risk, but I have a system that works perfectly for me, where I get 3, 5, 6 to 1 kind of risk reward ratios. Yeah, 50% win rate. There are a lot of professional traders, like hedge fund managers, who have less than 50% win rates, but make billions of dollars. And that is solely because of their risk reward management. That is all they're concerned about at the end of the day, the bottom line of what their risk reward is. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into that, and millions and billions of dollars that goes into developing what they do. But for us, you still need to strive for the same kind of thing, whatever your niche is. If you can get the risk reward down, then you can kick on and be profitable all the time. Within reason. There are bad spells for everyone. But if during those bad spells your risk management is still intact and you're not emotionally just trading, and the risk management goes out the window, then you have a shot. And you already have an advantage over most other people who don't understand that that's what they need to be doing. It's not just the setups. It's not just the patterns. Anyone can learn the patterns. Okay, what else? We got LCDX has done decent volume today. OTC. I don't know what to make of that. But yeah, risk reward super important. Oh, a dollar breakout, I guess. Not touching it. HIPH. Almost 500,000 volume. Dollar volume, that is. 2018 Farm Bill. Hemp, blah, blah, blah. I said maybe got a breakout over 2.027. Not going to touch that for now. But got a little breakout going here, possibly. Something I'll keep an eye on. It has done a 2 to 10er in the past. Anyone have any opinions on HIPH? I don't know if any of you have played it before. I think I played it like long time ago. Maybe back in September or something. I don't know. But they've done decent volume. NBEV bounce is nice. I'm definitely not buying it here. If I wasn't buying it earlier, I'm definitely not buying it right at resistance. NLST, same thing. It's just dicking around up here now. It's holding. Could have a day two. Could just gap down though. I mean, there's nothing I can see from this that I'm actually going to trade it going into the close. AWSM we've already spoken about. Not going to trade it. TXHD was just one of the top percent gainers on Friday, and I was looking at it. Reverse split back in July and broke over that on last week and has been in a nice uptrend. The volume's not great, so it's, you know, it kind of jumps around. It's kind of in a liquid one, but it did move nicely today, and it is kind of holding up now. So it's maybe something I'll just throw on the watch and just kind of keep an eye on in the future. Probably be a short soon. NIO, I'm going to watch this close on NIO. CBDS was another mover today, another weed mover. There's a couple of them on there. Going for a little breakout here. I don't want to chase this. It is kind of a big move for CBDS, even though it has done it in the past. But that was when there was a little bit more momentum. Maybe we're getting a bounce now. Let's see. We'll see what happens here. Anyone playing CBDS? John saying needs some consolidation around here. I wouldn't disagree. But I could see this breaking high day and possibly breaking out here in the next 15 minutes. People trying to get overnights. This might be my top candidate for overnight. Maybe it just spiked to 5 or something like that, or a gap up. One of my top ones at least. Anyways, I'm going to start doing watch lists every night, and I'll put my detailed ones up for you guys under watch list, weekly schedule. We will stick to this weekly schedule. I'll have it up every week on Sunday, starting next week. Whoops. All right, exit that. Yeah, I'm just not going to chase this one. I mean, it could very well have a day two. But like I said, even if it was a day two, I'd be pretty safe. New high day on CBDS. It's a nice close, no doubt. I just don't feel, you know, I don't want to chase this necessarily. Why the QTT huge drop? Yeah, probably that mixed with it's a smaller float as well than NIO, and NIO gap down too. I mean, NIO is traded again today, 50 million in volume. It's not a tiny amount. It's trading volume still. But I'll probably ignore that from now on. 473 on CBDS. So we've already broken out basically over this 460 level. And I just really don't want to chase it. I might consider buying a pullback on CBDS if it comes. It hasn't done like a massive amount of volume. It's done a good amount of volume, you know, for this stock in particular. You know, it doesn't generally trade heavily. But that's a decent amount of volume for an OTC. Is anyone in CBDS or no? Let's see. We're 75. Yeah. Tom was. Ha. Friggin' David. Wanted to play, but the move was too big for me to be comfortable with. Yeah, I agree. It's like a 430 move, pull back to 4, and then rip maybe. I don't know. But good move nonetheless today. $482. Wow. And the spread widens out, and it's just not something you chase. All right, well, there's that one. I see nothing else really to trade in the close for now. How about Choof? How about Choof, Dom? Choof was terrible. Literally the worst. I think I held Choof for like a week and a half. All right. Yes, I am not taking any positions. Like I said, there's nothing where I'm like, wow, I really like this. It's just not there right now. I was hoping maybe NIO and QTT would kind of spark a little bit more action, but they're IPOs, so there's not real any. QTT was the only sympathy play, and that was 2 NIO. So that was it, you know, and I mean, these could keep going and do their own thing now, and the chart's going to do whatever it's going to do. But it's not like there was any discernible market shift or anything like that, which is okay. Totally fine. I've been looking at OTCs a lot more carefully over the last month or so because of what you guys already know, which is NASDAQs, the Amexes. They all suck right now. You know, there's no good movers. 490. Just let people chase it. Leave that be. Multi-day OTC breakout. Any more questions? Any questions? I think we're all on the same page pretty much. Yeah, I agree. I would love like some sort of big dip in the morning on CBDS. Really nice little breakout there, just not perfect for me. Especially on a day where I'm just not really trying to take anything too risky. So I'll just leave that one alone. What do I think of RRTS? $8K. I know they've had a bunch of shit going on lately or random stuff, but made aware article appeared in the September 14th, 18 Wall Street Journal entitled Trucker Roadrunner Seeks to Pay Off Costly Rescue Funding. Article discussed the fact that previously announced are reviewing and evaluating financial alternatives, which usually isn't a good thing. Quote is saying the company expects to complete something by the end of the month, but is not putting itself up for sale. The company clarified was not suggesting a final transaction would be completed, but rather the company currently expects to finalize and announce. All right, yeah, whatever. RRTS. I don't know. I don't see too much for me. It doesn't really generally trade too much range. You know, really small range on a daily. 20-cent move today. Yeah, not something I'm going to trade right now. Not here mid-range too with this, you know, $1.25 resistance, whatever. Nothing for me there. What do I think of Tilray overall? Just way out of my ballpark. Way out of my ballpark, and I could see it keep just squeezing. People are just shorting it, trying to short it. And look at, I mean, just look at the chart. Just green day after green day. Even the gap downs ended up being not green days, but you know what I mean? Color green on the chart. Just a lot of strength. It's pretty crazy. It could also friggin' collapse at any point, so it's not something I'm going to play. Long or short. It's cool, though. It's interesting. CGC, we'll see what that does. Anyways, that's it for me today. I'm not trading anything. CBDS was obviously the best afternoon play, and I didn't want to chase it. So that happens. There was nothing this morning for me to trade, and that happens. So we'll hope Tuesday will bring something. Just one good PR and one good low float and the right circumstances to ignite something. Yeah, so schedule's up. We're doing this week, we're doing today, the open on Wednesday, and then the close on Thursday. If you guys have requests and like have certain times you want to do webinars in the future or whatever, let me know. If you guys like the opens better, let me know. If you guys want to do closes, let me know. And we'll just kind of go week to week doing different days so you can see different days as well. Mondays I tend to be a little gun shy, just want to see what's the week's going to kind of set up like. If the rest of the week is anything like today, it's going to be another slow week, you know, and I'll be really looking at just OTCs for the most part. I'm talking about NASDAQs right now, so. Anyways, yeah, schedule's up. And boom, boom. Anyways, everyone have a good one. I'll be in the chat tomorrow morning. I'll be trading tomorrow morning. I posted a link earlier and pinned it. If you haven't booked a room at the hotel for the resort for the meetup yet, like I said, anyone who wants to do it, we'll be playing golf on Saturday. Just let me know like within the next couple weeks if you want to play golf on Saturday. And then if you guys want to stay through till Tuesday, then we can do a really small group just our guys on Tuesday, and probably just at my office. I have a bunch of monitors and a bunch of equipment here. So you guys can all just plug in. Sweet end of day move on CBDS there. I probably would have locked in most into that, but everyone have a good one, and we'll talk to you soon. If you have questions, DM me. And if any of you ever need, dude, and you're having issues, I'm here. Like, call me. You have my number. That's the whole point. You know, if you have specific things you want to talk about that are not setup related or play related, or you want to talk about a play, but if you're having any kind of psychological issues or bad losses or whatever, dude, that's what I'm here for. So hit me up. We'll catch you guys tomorrow morning in chat, and then Wednesday morning for webinar. So have a good one.